Hello and welcome back to the Blackstones, our Blades in the Dark campaign. We have returned. It's been a minute, friends, but we're back, and we have yet another interesting heist ahead of us. But before we get into the heist, let's meet our cast. To my left, James.
I'm James. I am playing Brooks Columbo, the Akorosi Slide.
Shannon.
Hi, I'm Shannon. I am playing Alex O'Reilly, the Akorosi Spider.
A spider.
Spider.
And then across the table, we have Lukas.
I'm Lukas. I'm playing Demon Blackstone, the Skovlan Cutter.
Mm-hmm.
I'm Max. I'm playing Arvis Claremont, the Akorosi Hound.
I'm John. My character is Kobb, like the corn, the Akorosi Lurk.
That's right. And perhaps we'll see Filip, perhaps we won't. His character, Paul, might just be, working off his stress in his record store, his music store. Yeah. One of those things. All right, so it has been a minute in real life, but also in the game. In your last major heist, you guys kind of went to war, and you acquired turf, and a few bells rang, the bells of death in the town of Duskbowl, the city of Duskbowl. But you guys succeeded. You acquired turf, and simultaneously you improved your standing with some of the other factions, showing that you are sturdy and reliable. However, you also gained a lot of hatred from some other factions. The Red Sashes are now truly enemies, and they will seek revenge. There's no doubt about it. It's only a matter of time. But you also have gained the notice and ire of another faction, a faction that has been relatively new to you, and that is the Grey Cloaks. Who are they? Who do they work for? Who do they work with? What is their objective? That is something that perhaps you will find out. So, 5 months have gone by in the world of Duskbowl. You have solidified and reinforced all of your different holdings. Renovations to the building that you are now deeded on have occurred, and your continued relationship with the Wongs, with the Lampblacks, has been beneficial for everyone involved. We did adjudicate downtime off camera, so you guys have in some ways leveled up. Some of you have gained a few special abilities, and your crew has a very strong standing with your vault being very well intact. You guys are not short on coin. So, in the past few months, in addition to kind of bolstering your standing and all your properties and all your business endeavors, you have also had a few run-ins, I'm going to call them minor skirmishes, with some of your enemies. The first of those, and I'm just going to summarize, was sort of a street fight that broke out between you guys and the Wongs and the Red Sashes. There was a group of Red Sashes that basically kind of ambushed you guys and a few of your allies in the Wongs. That fight, fortunately, didn't involve any major catastrophic incidences, but about a few weeks later, you had some visits from the Bluecoats. The Bluecoats had been investigating this street fight incident, and they have become aware of your involvement So you kind of have gotten on the radar of the law enforcement authorities. So that meant that you had to play it very carefully. And so you did for a few months. Very cautiously conducting your business, but trying to avoid any heat. It's a new day. You guys are at your domicile above Gary's Deli. And you hear the normal, like, ambient sounds from the deli downstairs. You know, every time the door opens, there's a little bell that gets rung, and you hear customers and stuff. It's pretty typical for late morning. You guys are all kind of rousing. But then you hear something that doesn't sound like normal business as usual at Gary's Deli. You hear a scream, and it sounds like Gary himself going, "No, no, there's nothing here. Help, somebody help."
I run downstairs.
Okay. To be clear, you're not loaded out. Is there anything that you grab on your way downstairs?
A crowbar.
Okay, you grab a crowbar, which is conveniently located right next to the door.
We always need one.
You
Sleeves
grab a
one versus
crowbar. What are you doing?
I'm just gonna grab a pistol and follow behind him, I guess.
Okay.
I'm gonna grab the 2 hidden blades I made in the past.
You're like, great opportunity to test these out. Go ahead.
Cane sword.
Cane
As
sword.
always.
Yeah.
And I am going to come down with a palm pistol, concealed palm pistol.
Okay. So the group of you run down the back stairs that leads into kind of the storeroom and the kitchen behind the main shop. And as you get down there through the swinging door that like opens up from the back room into the kitchen, you see like through the little square window, you see like Gary, and he's like got his hands up and he's like, just take whatever you want. Just don't hurt any of my customers. Do you proceed?
Can we see who
You
like
can't.
people are?
So
Can't
he,
see
yeah,
them
like
yet?
imagine like you're looking through this little square glass window in the swinging door. So all you see is like Gary, the back of Gary, and his hands up, and you can't really see like who he's talking to or what's going on in the shop.
Is there a back door?
There's a back door that goes outside to an alley, but then you'd have to go all the way around like 2 buildings to come back around to the front door. But you could do that.
I want to do that.
Okay, so you peel out the back door and start running around. What do you do?
I'll stay kind of just like out of sight, just like kind of ready with the pistol.
Okay. Demon? Or should I go to them first? Okay.
Yeah, I think I'm going to go with Kobb to sort of give him backup in case something does go awry.
Okay, so Kobb and Alex peel out the back door and start running down the alley.
I'm gonna walk out there, stay behind me. I tap my cane twice on the ground. You do your thing, okay? I will step out.
Okay, so you go to push your way out. As you're opening the door, you hear like 2 loud explosive sounds of firearms have been shot. I'm going to need somebody to make a roll on each side of the table. Alex, you roll 1d6. Max, you're going to roll the other one, even though your character is not there. Go ahead. Just tell me what the results are.
5.
1.
5 and a 1. Okay, as you're pushing the door open, a bullet hits the glass from that little window and shatters it, kind of spraying glass towards your face, but you don't take any harm.
Okay.
You also hear, as I heard, you said, you heard 2 discharges.
Right.
You also hear like a scream of pain, like a, ah! And as you're pushing the door open, Gary falls back into the door, and you see that there's this moment where you're like, because you're caught off guard, right? You felt the spray of the glass, and then you're like, there's blood on it. I must have been cut, but like your brain's processing this, and it's not your blood. Demon, you're standing just behind Brooks, and you see Gary fall back into the door, blood, not only like the glass shattering, but blood then his blood shooting through and splattering across Brooks's face.
I run out and I look for the nearest person who's holding a smoldering gun.
To get out, you have to open the door, and you have Gary's body in front of you. And then you could jump over the counter if you wanted to do that.
So before I jump over the counter, I would like to put Gary like up against the bar, like away.
So you kind of open the door. You see Gary. You're not sure if he's alive or dead. He's definitely like unconscious, and there's a lot of blood. Like he was shot like up in the shoulder area, and it's just a lot of blood. You see the counter, the deli counter. You see customers like on the floor, cowered. And you see two men wearing long gray, like knee-length jackets with like high collars and gray, like English cab driver caps, like gray caps. But both of them are also wearing gray, like rags, like bandanas over their faces. So all you see really are their eyes, and they are the ones that have the smoking pistols. Are you trying to skirmish or wreck one of them?
Wreck.
Okay. How would you like to wreck?
I would like to aim for their kneecaps.
Okay, so you're gonna jump the counter and basically just swing at one of their kneecaps.
Yeah.
Okay, I'm gonna get to you in a second with that. Brooks, you're there. What are you doing?
Once I kind of get my bearings and I see Gary, I'm going to take whatever ridiculously ostentatious satin robe or whatever I happen to have on and just grab Gary and just start tying it around the wound as best as I can to make a tourniquet.
Okay, so you're kind of crouching down next to him by the counter to try to patch him up.
Yeah.
What are you doing? The door is now open. You see him vaulting to go after these two guys.
Do I have a clear line of shot, like a clear line of sight to one of them?
You do. The one that he's not attacking, yes.
Okay, so the one that he's not attacking, I'm going to aim for like the calf and try to shoot him.
Okay. All right. As this epic scene unfolds, I'm actually going to go in kind of reverse non-combat order. So what could you do to patch him up?
Oh God, I don't
What do
know.
you think would be an appropriate test of your abilities? Would it be?
It's okay.
Yeah, I don't know if is it a resolve or is it a insight kind of thing?
No.
I mean, you could argue. What's survey?
I guess, yeah, you know what? That's a great one. You're surveying his wound and you're patching him up.
Right.
Okay, go ahead.
Okay, just out of it being Gary, I'm going to push it.
Okay, you're going to push it. Gary's been a wonderful friend and ally to the
Pushing
crew.
is
So you're going to gain a stress and then you're going to gain a dice.
6.
Oh, something in you, your care for Gary propels you to just duck down. You kind of slide towards him, grabbing this cloth, and you start wrapping it around his shoulder while you're pressing hard on it. And you see his eyes kind of are fluttering. So he seems to be currently still alive. You are focusing on stopping the bleeding.
Right.
Demon's lunging outward towards one of them, but you see a clean shot.
Roll for the shot.
Yeah.
Okay.
Oh my God.
4, 5, 6.
4, 5, 6 is more than good enough.
Just to be clear, I'm shooting with the intention of not killing him.
Of not killing him.
Yes.
Right. So you're basically
maiming.
shooting him in the leg.
Yes.
Okay.
What's the damage on that weapon? Is it a 2?
It does not say. It just says I have a fine pair of pistols.
Okay. So you basically called this shot. You concentrate, you kind of see this guy, and it's almost slow motion as the two of them are seeing you guys burst out of there. You can almost, you know what, in fact? Have you make a survey roll too. Just for giggles.
Survey?
Don't push it, just do it.
Just do it?
Just for giggles.
5 and 1.
You get a sense that they're surprised. Like you could see it just in the eyes, because remember they're wearing bandanas, right? But like the eyes open wide when you and Demon like when Demon comes out and you kind of like come in and you're like, oof. The one guy, as your bullet hits his leg, it like, basically his leg gives out and he crumbles and like falls to his hands and knees on the ground. Demon. Yeah. Look at the enthusiasm. Are you wrecking? Okay.
This one will die.
All right. So go ahead. You vault over. You got this metal crowbar, this iron crowbar, and you're just like, whoa.
Please don't mess up. 6 and a 5.
A 6 and a 5 is more than adequate.
This one is in for the intent to kill. On the one I'm attacking.
Right. I'm gonna say that you, because you're what is your rec? 4. You hear bone crack. When you hit him in the leg, you hear bone crack, and the guy lets out a ear-piercing scream, like that I won't even replicate because it would destroy our microphones. But like he just is like, and like you hear bone crack, and he's like he just falls. He's like, oh! And like because his leg completely gives out. So now 2 of them are on the ground. Smash cut back to you. You guys are running around, right? You make it, you're out in the alley, you run down 2 buildings, and then there's a little like narrow alley between buildings that runs back to the front, like to the main street, right? You guys are running, and as you're running, you get to that little narrow alley, and you turn the corner, and you're like, and you're both running like full speed. There are 2 more guys in full gray knee-length coats with bandanas and hats. And they're at the other end of that narrow alley. So you guys kind of come around the alley, you see them, they see you.
I have one question before we do anything here. Do these guys look like they're related in any way? Because they're all wearing gray, right? Do they look like people that would belong to the gray coats?
That would be an intuitive guess. They certainly look like they could be.
Okay, noted.
What kind of weapons do they have?
Well, the ones in the deli definitely had pistols. These guys, you don't see them. They're not like, it's not like they were like this, waiting for you to come around the corner. Like they were kind of standing there, almost like lookouts.
Yeah, because we rolled a higher roll. Are they looking away from us?
No, like you guys run, you come around the corner and like the sound of footsteps running, and there's debris and garbage and shit in this alley. And like they turn to see you. So you're like 10 feet into this alley when they turn to see you, and they're at the other end.
About how far away are they?
It's just 10 feet.
No, like the length of the building, right?
Oh,
so like
okay.
50 feet away, probably.
It's your call. I ain't got nothing really to do with it.
We could either just run in there and just start hitting them, or we could try and see if we can get him to come over. Either way, we're have to fight him.
Right, rush.
True. Here. I guess I could. Okay.
You're only 10 feet away from the entrance of the alley on your side.
Yeah.
I'm just saying that because you don't have to fight them.
Yeah, I think I'm gonna try and make a little bit of a dart or sneaky way towards the alleyway.
There's no sneaky.
There's no sneaky.
You run back out.
Yeah,
they see you. You saw them. They see you.
Okay. Let's just. I could try to bait them in for us to sort of try and subdue them, or we could just run back in.
I'm trying to think if I could run back, use Prowl to somehow climb up on something and just wait for them.
I mean, if you have the ghost ability, which we could both run back. I could run back. You could use your ghost ability to go around them to like behind them, and then we encounter them one in front, one behind.
Yeah, just wait for them to walk past, and I'm hiding.
Yeah. All right.
Yeah.
So you guys run back out of the alley.
Yeah.
And you're going up somewhere, or you're just kind of ducking around the corner?
I'm going to duck into a corner, and then when I hear them getting close, I'm going to use my ghost fail.
Okay.
And I will run around the corner.
And there's like garbage and debris in the alley, so there's places where you could hide.
Yeah, and I'm going to hide in a way where it would put them in the middle of both Kobb and me.
Let's have some prowl rolls, boys. Prowl.
All right.
Max is like, damn it, that's my job.
Double sixes.
Oh.
I think I am going to
Who
push
even
myself.
needs ghost things? Cobb grabs like some garbage and like puts it up against himself, and he's like,
Yeah.
like a ghillie suit of
Literally
garbage.
just like
It's like putting the lamp. Like putting the lamp on your head.
And you have the blades, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
I'm gonna push myself. So
Remember that you guys aren't wearing armor. Like you just literally woke up.
Yeah. And let's see here. It's a 1 for a proud.
You go to the other side, like seeing him, you're like, where did he go? And then you're like concentrating on trying to find a hiding spot, and you're like moving things around, and you're like, crap, there's nowhere good to hide. You hear like the sound of 2 guys running down the alley towards you. They'll
Okay.
be there momentarily. You seem to have saved Gary, although he is going to need serious medical attention. The 2 guys that have been shot and beaten with a crowbar are screaming in pain.
all right.
And there are customers in the deli right now. Your time to shine, Mr. Face.
All right.
All right.
I am just seeing that Gary is generally in a position that he's at the moment he is stable.
Stable.
I am just walking out, drawing the cane sword, saying, everyone in this room, everyone in here, get out.
Okay.
For your own safety, leave.
I would say that is a command.
Oh, you know I'm going to use the ability. Because why would I do that when I could do this? So what is 2 stress?
Yes.
Yes. So I go bop and I go bop, and then that is a 5 and 2 2s.
Okay. 5. So the 5 is not a superb success. It's a success, which is perfect. Because basically you're trying to smoothly command them to get out, and they do. Like they will obey. You see people getting out, but you see like as some of them are leaving, they're like looking at what's going on, and they kind of see like 2 dudes in gray that just got messed up. They see them, they see you, they see the blood from Gary all over the back of the wall, and then they all get out. Mission accomplished. You haven't come out into the main space of the shop.
Well, are you still planning to like mess the other guy up?
I won't kill him now.
I know, but like, are you still gonna like beat him?
I mean, you could use Wreck to just knock him out unconscious if you wanted.
Okay.
Alright. I'm just gonna, the guy that I shot, can I like go over and kind of just pull him aside while Demon handles the other guy?
Yeah.
But like, I want to make sure the guy I'm pulling away is seeing what's about to happen to his friend. Just.
I would say that is adequate, and you don't even have to make a roll.
Alright, perfect.
You kind of run out around the counter on the other side of where he is. You go over to the guy and you just grab him by his gray coat and pull him back. And he's screaming in pain and his leg's bleeding, and you see like a trail of blood across the floor. You were standing over the guy with whose leg you just snapped with a crowbar.
Were you the one who shot him? Were you the one that shot him? I would ask the gray coat. Or
Yes.
Wrong answer. I would drop the crowbar, and I would like to wreck his face.
Oh boy. Okay. Just hammer smash, right?
But it's going to be to near death, but not kill him, like
Okay.
unconscious.
You just want to beat him into unconsciousness.
Yeah.
All right, go ahead and make that wreck.
3. No.
Okay. You beat him up.
Yeah.
You think he's unconscious.
Well done.
Okay. Everybody clears out. You see him pull the one guy that he shot in the leg over to the side, who's still yelling in pain. You see him drop the crowbar and just start going. You know that sound? You ever watch The Walking Dead?
Yeah.
Yeah.
You hear that sound after the third hit, and you can't really see because you're still like kind of behind the counter with Gary, but you're there and you see the whole thing, and that's when you hear dong. You're There's no way that the guy is still alive. His skull is smashed. Oh my god. Demon's fists and forearms are covered in blood, bone, and brains.
That's alright. Guess we can't say we're a security cartel for Gary then.
We're a cartel?
Not yet.
Detail.
Not yet.
Yeah.
You guys would hear this too.
Yeah.
Dong. And when you hear that bell, you hear the running that was like coming down towards you guys down that alley, the side alley. You hear it stop, like skidding to a stop in gravel kind of sound. And you hear like a voice that's like, "Oh crap, we gotta get out of here. Hurry up." And then you hear that like running away from you guys.
I want to try and run after one of them.
Okay, you kind of pop out from your awesome hiding spot, and then you see them running back towards the street.
We gotta try and get one of them.
We do. Yeah. Oh, no, we don't know. Actually, you're right. Let's go get them.
Yeah.
Okay, you guys are chasing them?
Yeah.
Okay, you're on the chase. You heard the bell. You're in a blood frenzy. And by the time you stop, your intention to just knock them out ended up being not what you had hoped for, since you radically failed. And he's just more than dead. What do you do?
Ooh, I mean, you want to question this guy, or do we even have time?
He's scary.
Brooks, you're not the dumbest person. You're fairly certain that you have anywhere from 6 to 8 minutes before spirit wardens show up, which is not a lot of time.
So I'm going to make I'm just going to do this quickly. I'm going to immediately hop over the bar that's right there, draw the sword, and where he's holding the guy up against the wall, I am just going to stab the cane sword into the side of the bar next to his head with a good 3-4 inches of space and go, "I suggest you tell us where you came from so you don't end up like that."
Ooh, that is, you know what? You have the advantage on that. Go ahead and make that roll. I'll give you an extra die.
That would be...
I feel like that would be...
I'm going to say you can use your sway.
Okay.
It's probably a command, but you can use your sway with an extra die.
I would just look at the other guy with just like an empty 1,000-yard
Six. 2 sixes. That's a huge success. All right, the guy is completely intimidated, right? You stab the sword in like an inch from his face, and he says, Greycoats. We don't have much time before the wardens get here. Help me get up." And he's trying to pull himself up, like using the counter, even though you're on one side and you're on the other.
I'm just going to rip the sword out and go, "We got to get rid of this."
So there's a body with a mashed skull. That's what you're next to. And then you guys are flanking the guy that you shot in the leg, who is there and is conscious and is trying to get up to leave. Choices. Moral quandaries.
Well, he witnessed that. I think that'd be good to let him.
Okay.
We have our show of strength.
Smash cut.
Nah.
You guys tail it down the alley. You're almost at the end of the alley. You get to the end of the alley, and you see a crowd of spectators outside the front of the deli. Make a survey roll. See if you see.
6.
Oh! 2. Are those dice loaded? All right.
They might be.
You're like looking through the crowd, and you don't see any graycoats at all. You're like, there's no sense of where they are. You're looking, and like on the other side of the street and halfway down the block, you see 2 graycoats running away.
I don't see them, so...
They're all the way on the other side of the crowd. Are we going to get there before they get away?
They're already getting away.
Yeah.
The question is,
further
you
away.
spot them. The question is, do you want to continue to follow them, or are you letting it go?
We definitely don't want to, like, go announce them, walk in the front door of our place.
Well, before we do anything, I'm assuming you're telling me that you see them across the crowd. And then, okay. I suggest we don't, and I'm going to suggest we go back into the back way, the back entrance, back into the deli.
I could use Prowl to tail them, see where they go.
You could.
Well, you can do what you want. I'm going back into the deli.
I'm gonna go tail them.
Okay.
All right, I'm gonna.
You're going to go through the front door?
Nope,
or all
back
the way?
entrance.
All right, so you run back down the alley. Make me a prowl roll.
See, now they're not loaded.
So, Kobb, you start like, you don't want to just be like, get out of the way through the whole crowd, right? So you start going around the crowd, and then you run down the same street that they were running down. You get to an intersection with like multiple alleys. You get to there, you're looking down the alleys, you're looking down the streets. Can't find them. They're gone. There are lots of people though on the streets. Yeah. Okay, inside. You're standing over the body. You guys are right next to the one guy who's still alive. What are you doing? Decisions. Did you say that you're helping him up and letting him go? How are you doing this?
I mean, if we want him to be a witness.
If the spirit wardens are going to come, they're going to check that body. If they can see what happened through him, they're going to see that they came into here, they fired first, we were defending our property.
Is that a thing in like Duskfall law? Castle law?
I mean, it could be a thing. You know, there have been. I'll put it to you this way: is it possible that if this went to some kind of trial, that you could make that argument? It is possible.
Okay, then
Fair enough. Run the body.
You got a grinder?
We are in a deli.
I'll say this: you know that the spirit wardens are going to come here.
Okay.
Like getting rid of the body with no head now is probably not even a thing.
Right.
Like that's going to be found. Whether they're able to extract information from that body is another question.
Can I go wash my hands?
I mean, it's a fair question.
There's a
covered in blood.
It's right there.
Yeah.
They're still in shock.
Is that the OSHA standards?
Okay, so you're at the sink washing blood off your hands and arms. All right, here's what happens. The gray coat guy, unless you're stabbing him or hitting him, he finally pulls himself up, and he looks around and he grabs like one of those like towels off of the counter, like that the deli guys wear, and he just starts wrapping it around the gaping hole in his leg, and then you see him like looking around, and he pulls his mask, his bandana was never down. He looks around and he sees the back door, and he starts heading towards the back door.
Back the way you came.
Yeah,
I get the front.
He doesn't stop.
Just as like a show of force, can I just kind of like grab him by like the back of the coat and just kind of guide him out
To the front?
through the back door? Just kind of like push him out.
Yes. So you take him through the storeroom in the kitchen, you shove him out the back door, which is open. So you shove him out the back door. He kind of falls, he stumbles and falls into the alley and splays out for a second. And he kind of gets up, and then he looks both ways and he starts going down the alley.
Okay.
And it's like a fast limp run, right? Like he's like,
He's
and
gonna
like every
eventually
step
find
is just
me.
pain.
Wait a minute. Is there a blood trail?
You're up. Like, fine.
Okay, what are you doing?
Oh, God, I don't know.
You realize you have some personal possessions upstairs. All of you do. I'll just remind you of that. The clock is ticking.
We don't have time to clear out.
Mind you, your vault is not upstairs.
Yeah,
That's
that is
all.
true.
All of your crew things are actually in your secure locations. I'm just talking about like the personal things on your character sheet.
Ooh.
That's what's upstairs.
Demolition tools.
Oh, wait, Philip.
His bomb.
No, Philip's next door.
He's not there.
He's in his store.
He's at the music store. He's working off some stress.
He keeps his bombs.
Okay.
All right, I'm going to go around. You go for like a block. You can't find them. What do you do?
I head back.
Okay,
Through the
you
back
start
door.
heading back towards the back door. You already started heading back. You get to the back door, and you see him at the back door, and you see a gray cloak limp running down the other way, down the alley. What do you say when you see Alex come around the corner?
We have one death in the building. You gotta hurry. Grab your stuff.
Bad morning, huh?
Oh yeah.
Okay, so you guys run up the back stairs?
I'm gonna start running upstairs and just taking as much stuff as I can carry.
Okay.
Like heavy load.
Demon, you've washed most of the brain and blood off of your arms and hands. What are you doing?
I'm going to grab as much as of my personal stuff as well.
So you run upstairs. Brooks, what are you doing?
Getting dressed as quickly as I can.
So you run upstairs.
Yes.
Okay, all of you are upstairs in the apartment over the deli. You're grabbing your stuff, throwing on clothes. You can grab a fair amount of things and just load them in and, blankets and stuff and just wrap it up. You get back. Most of you have grabbed most of your stuff. You get back. You see they're all frantically packing things up. You feel like at any moment, the spirit wardens could be coming through the front door.
You all need to get out of here as quickly as possible. I'm staying here to keep Gary safe.
I'm going to go. I am going to go to the safe house that Ulf told me about.
Okay. You run down the back stairs, 3 steps at a time. You run out the back alley. You start running in that direction. It's a full district away, but you know some ways to get there. Where are you guys and you going?
Okay. What I think I, myself, am probably going to be doing is that I think I'm going to go towards the Jaded Dragon.
Ooh.
What I was thinking.
All right, so you're going to head out to Night Market, which is another district. So you're taking a circuitous route to get there, avoiding big crowds and stuff. You have all your stuff. You go downstairs.
Not taking a large amount of it because basically the stuff I just have is like a lot of jewelry and dice and stuff. I have the cane sword, which I'm going to keep concealed, and then I'm just going to keep a pistol on me where I just normally do.
Okay.
If there's a couple, I only have a couple like other like pistols and knives and stuff and like some armor. If there's any way that anyone else could just like grab those couple things and take off with it.
We'll say Demon took it.
Yeah, that's right.
Because he can carry a lot of things.
Yeah.
Okay.
I plan on staying here.
You go downstairs. You see Gary, just like he looks kind of pale, a lot of blood, but you have wrapped up the injury and you kind of are, you see him kind of pressing on it.
I'm just gonna stay.
You kind of come to
do
him.
what I can.
He looks up to you and he's like, Brooks, thanks for helping me out.
But you've been helping us out since we got here, so it was about time to return the favor.
Ting, the door opens. You see 3 spirit wardens walk in. Behind them are 2 blue coats. Spirit wardens walk over and they seem to have these strange orbs in their hands. And they walk over towards the obvious fatality that's on the floor. And they kind of form like a sort of a triangle around the body. And you hear them like whispering. You can't even hear what they're saying, but you hear them like, and they're wearing like plague masks and they have like hoods on, so you can't even see who they are or what they are. The 2 blue coats look around and they see you and they go, so were you responsible for this?
I was not, but he's been shot.
Who's he?
This is Gary. He owns this deli.
They come around the counter and now see Gary. And Gary looks over him and he's like, I'm Gary. I own the deli. And the blue coats look at him and they say, so what, this guy tried to rob him? He shot him?
We were upstairs, so we rent the apartment above this place just for a means of before we can get some footing. And we woke up this morning to him being threatened. We heard some screams, and me and a couple of my associates rushed down, to which there was gunfire where Gary was hit, and you could see a second bullet hit the glass on that door right there above me, where I believe I do have some glass marks on my face from that. And then we took it upon ourselves to defend our property, well, not our property, but Gary's property, as he has been so kind to us.
See, the blue coats are kind of looking at Gary. Well, we should get him to the hospital. Ned, why don't you call and have him bring a wagon over to pick this guy up here before he bleeds out. You see the younger of the two bluecoats go outside. The older guy, still standing next to you, and Gary says, "So I'm going to assume that the deceased over there, who is missing most of his head, that your friend Gary, in an act of self-defense, must have shot him with his hand cannon?"
Well, it was a bit of hand-to-hand combat that went a little far, and I didn't quite want to step in the way.
He says, "But I don't see any bruises or cuts on your hands. They look quite manicured."
That probably, I'm probably in one of the really expensive. This is just not me saying that. I'm probably in one of the ridiculous suits, right? Yeah. I changed because the thing that was tied around him I was tending to.
So Gary beat that man to death, or you did?
I did not.
Well, someone else did.
Someone else in here. I was back here.
Well, who beat him to death?
Alive. I can't say that for certain. I was back here making sure he was safe.
Oh, I see. So you were crouched down.
Correct.
And another person who you don't know happened to be here, a customer. And that customer then, seeing that Gary, the fine owner of their favorite deli, had been shot, that customer took it upon themselves to demolish the deceased to a point where their face is beyond recognition. Am I understanding that that's what happened?
There's more ridiculous things in the city than that.
Okay, now it's time for that sway roll.
And he just happens to have 3 in sway.
I do.
Ooh. That's
1, 3, 4.
Gary's gonna help you. Roll one more die.
Yeah, Gary. 3. Oh well.
Gary's like, "That's exactly what happened, officer."
Awesome.
The guy says, "I don't know if any normal watch captain would ever believe that. So here's what we're gonna do. We're gonna take care of Gary. We'll make sure that he doesn't bleed out. You are going to stop by with a very generous donation to the Blue Coats Ladies Auxiliary. And then we will figure out a way to make this rather fictitious story all work itself out. Does that sound like we have a deal?"
I believe it does.
"I'm glad that you're a reasonable man." He said, "Now, once Ned gets back, I'm going to make sure that Gary is taken care of. You and I will meet up in the alley behind this place 3 hours hence, and you will have my coin." "Well, Gary, come on, buddy." Grab his other shoulder. And together, you and the other blue coat lift Gary up. You bring him out the front just as Ned is arriving with a wagon and 2 personnel on it, who begin immediately tending to Gary as you load him in, and then the wagon takes off towards one of the hospitals. The older blue coat just looks out at the crowd and he's like, "Folks, everything's under control. Please come back in a few days. Gary's going to do fine. He'll be back here. Your deli will be reopened in 3 days. Have a nice day. Please go on about your business." And he kind of shoos everyone away. After that, another wagon arrives, and this wagon has a wooden sled on it, and a rather odd-looking, kind of large, oafish man gets out with the sled and a shovel, and then carries that into Gary's deli, where he proceeds to pick up the body and put it on the sled, and then just scoop up most of the skull and blood and brains and put that on the sled. And then he picks that up and drags it back to the wagon and loads it on the back of the wagon. Spirit wardens kind of stand up after their 5 minutes of holding their weird orbs in their hands and whispering. They kind of stand up, and then they turn to you, And again, faceless, like they're all wearing plague masks. But all three of them simultaneously turn to you and just do this. And then they walk out the door. Ding. The door swings closed. You are the only person in the building. There's bloodstains all over the floor. You're the only person in the building.
What just happened?
Good cleaning.
I just pour myself a drink from the bar.
I mean, you know where Gary keeps the whiskey, so you...
Oh, it's realistically... and I find my bottle.
Yeah. I'm assuming that you lock the front door and put the close sign up, you draw the blinds, you close everything up. After you kind of do all that, I'm assuming you're going to grab the keys and lock up the building and go somewhere. Where is it that you guys are going to... Where are you going to go? Like to one of your fallback safe houses? Or do you want to go to the Jade Dragon, or do you want to go to another establishment?
Where did you go?
I went Jade Dragon.
You went Jade Dragon. I'm gonna go there.
Okay.
Just
because. So a little time goes by. You meet up at the Jade Dragon. Where did you go?
I don't think we said. Just before I go to the Jade Dragon, I guess, I'm very rattled by this situation. I'm going to stop by a gambling den and just collect myself, calm my nerves.
Is it Jade Dragon
just like free downtime vice indulgence?
I have one coin on me. I need something to take the edge off.
Okay. I'm totally down with that. Roll 3 d6s and add them up.
Come on, buddy, come on.
5, 3, 3.
Okay.
That would be 11.
You have an opportunity to win at a game. But you have to choose. So you cannot exceed 21. You're at 11 right now. You can choose 1 die or 2 dice to roll to add to your 11. If you exceed 21, you're bust.
Okay. Right now I'm going to just go with 1.
Okay, roll.
3.
Okay, so you're at 14.
I'm going to go with 1 again.
Okay. 20. Wow. Ooh. All right, let's see. 8, 11, 13. The dealer's going to go with 2 dice. 16. The dealer's going to go with 1 die. Oh no! You win. You win a coin. Let's go.
All right.
Keep gambling.
No. And then
You do feel a little more centered.
Yeah. My nerves are calm. I'm gonna just head to the Jade Dragon.
Okay. All right, so you guys meet up. A few hours go by, so it's like noon. You're at the Jade Dragon. This incident has ruffled you. Talk amongst yourselves. Brooks, you're there. Remember that the rest of your comrades don't know what went down with the Spirit Wardens and the Bluecoats, so why don't you go ahead and inform them?
Okay, they came in, 3 Spirit Wardens with 2 Bluecoats. I talked to the Bluecoats. He didn't buy a word I said, which is unusual. And yeah, we're gonna owe them some money. A bit. But I pretty much with where I was, even though I had pretty much perfect understanding of the event, I just got a nod from the Spirit Wardens. They very in sync, creepily looked at me and just... So...
Well, they just seem like the type to do that.
I don't know what that means.
That? Well, okay, well, if they're really in sync,
I know,
they work with ghosts.
Is that just like they're leaving now thing?
Well, listen, I may have worked as a detective in my past time, but I've never interacted with them, so I don't know. But I'm assuming because they work in creepy stuff.
I don't know, they're creepy.
They're creepy.
Creep me out. I don't know if that's a good thing or a bad thing.
They're not meant to be really appealing.
Anyways.
Yeah.
Okay. So, do you know how much coin we owe the Bluecoats?
You do not. He did not specify. But your instinct is that it's going to be a fair amount.
Yeah.
Oh boy.
I'll handle it.
All right. Anyways.
How much coin is in a thing of stash on here? Is it just 1 per mark?
Yeah.
I think so, right?
Yes.
Okay. Yeah, I got it.
So, there's one thing I've thought about while I was on my way here. That was definitely the Greycoats. We can all establish that fact. The security cartel that we encountered a few months back.
Would it be because they were dressed in all gray?
No, I can assume. yeah, they're dressed in all gray. But
I mean, also, you saw the guy limping out the back, right? He literally told us.
No, he did?
Yeah.
No.
I put the cane sword next to his head, into the bar. There's a decent 4-inch hole in the bar.
So now you share with the class.
What?
What?
Oh, yeah. It's been a long day and it's noon.
Should we tell our allies that this was the Greycoats and that our home pretty much was raided or shot up by these vandals?
Probably would be a good idea.
Because we are in a Wong territory place right now. We could talk to the higher up that owns this establishment and we can tell them what happened. But that is my question to you all.
We gotta find Eddie. Okay. But at the same time, we need to get back there. How long has it been since the blue coats took off? Roughly?
A few hours.
Oh, shit. Okay, so I gotta get back. Because they said 3 hours after I gotta be back there. So I'm gonna head back. I'm gonna, wherever on God's green earth my stashes are, I'm gonna go ahead and grab that. I'm gonna get some coin. I would prefer one of you. There is security. You, come with me.
Wait. I'm looking at our group right now, and where's Demon?
Oh, God.
Who knows?
Goodness. You know what? We'll find him later.
He's probably getting kicked out of another library.
Probably.
Or banned from all of them.
You know
He's
what?
probably already banned from all of them.
Let's not worry about him right now.
He can take care of himself.
Yes.
I hope.
I
just
Kobb,
hope
you
no
come
one-
with me. Let's go try and find the person who runs the place.
God, I hope no one messes with him.
Okay, so you and you are going to get some coin from the stash and then go to the meetup. You guys are trying to talk to the Wongs. Okay, you're there, you know them. Are you asking specifically for Eddie Wong?
Have we done that before?
I believe we've
I think the last time we talked to them, we threatened them.
We threatened? Okay,
We might have. I don't remember which one this was.
Did we?
No, I think Eddie Wong is the one. Oh yeah, I'm not there.
No, Eddie is the one that we...
You have a...
we have +2 standing with the
We have
Wongs.
+2 with
Wongs.
them.
You're in good shape with Wongs.
I'm pretty sure
I
Eddie...
think we should.
It doesn't matter.
Yeah.
Eddie
We
was
can
the
go talk to
one
him.
we talked to after the raid on the Red Sashes. That was Eddie.
Oh, okay then, yeah.
it's fine.
Let's ask for Eddie. See if we can get in contact with him.
The manager tells you that Eddie is currently away on business, but his cousin Peter is available.
Can we talk to Peter then?
Of course.
Thank you.
She takes you up to the office. It's Eddie's office, but when the door opens, you see a good-looking man in his 30s, clean-shaven face, dark hair, slicked back, superb suit, colorful, vibrant, superb suit. And he looks and he says, "Oh, good afternoon, gentlemen. I've come to understand that you are business associates with my cousin.
Yes, very much so.
How can the Wongs help you?
So,
Please have a seat. Would you like a drink?"
Oh, no, thank you, sir.
He pours you a drink anyway.
Well,
Would you like
may
a
as
drink?
well.
Sure.
This is fermented pear juice. You
Only
might
the
not know what a
finest.
pear is, but the Wongs have access to exotic fruit and the knowledge to ferment it. It's delicious. Drink it.
I downed the whole thing.
I take a little bit of a sip.
Well,
It's good.
yeah, I told you it was good. So, what can I help you with?
Yes, Peter, I'm sure you know of the Greycoats, I assume. You know
yes.
of them?
Yes.
An incident has happened this morning that I think it would be nice to bring your attention to. The Greycoats have basically shot up our HQ, the Blackstone's HQ.
They made a direct move.
Yes. They basically almost killed the person that we trust most with everything we have. They almost killed him. And I fear they would have raided our base if it went on any longer. I'm sure you heard the gong earlier. The bell.
I did not, but then again, my cousin has made sure that there is significant insulation in our buildings to reduce
Sure.
sound. But this incident it seems like something that is significant. I was led to believe that the Blackstones were on shaky ground with the Greycoats, but not at war. This seems like a provocation, like an act, a declaration of war. Would you construe it in that fashion?
Absolutely.
I would assume.
It's a horrible insult to us.
He says, this is not good, gentlemen.
The only thing we don't have is the motive of why they would try and do this after months of us lying low.
Is there something that, I'm just thinking out loud here, but is there something that you perhaps have that they would want? Did they ask you for anything, or did they attempt to take anything from you?
We didn't really let them get that far in their questioning.
The only thing we know is that Gary, or the person we trust with the most in our place of residence, said there's nothing here. So what I can only assume is that they might be looking for coin we've taken from them in the past, but I'm not sure that might be the motive. It might be something else.
And this was done in the morning?
Broad daylight.
Yes.
With civilians, witnesses?
Yes.
This does not seem to be something. This does not seem to be a well thought out move. Seems to be a brash, an unprovoked declaration. Not something that a group such as the Greycoats would do, knowing full well that there would be witnesses. Why would they do that?
They might be. There is one group that is currently, we are at war with currently, one would say. The Red Sashes, if you are
Yes,
aware.
my cousin informed me about the conflict.
Has anything happened to you all majorly since that altercation?
Not as of yet, but we have been making significant payoffs.
Okay. What I can assume is that they might, the group that attacked our HQ might be Red Sashes disguised as Greycoats, trying to make them look bad, even worse than we are in that scenario, but...
Did you see any of them? I mean, their complexion, their faces, their...
No, the eyes. We saw the skin around their eyes, but they are mostly wearing
Did they
bandanas.
seem to be Eruvian? Did they have darker skin?
Did they?
They did not.
No.
I am beginning to wonder if perhaps the Red Sashes, in a desperate attempt to strike out at you, but not be construed as the perpetrators, perhaps made some offering or hired the Greycoats to do this task. Now, with that said, I will also say, on the opposite side, that the Greycoats are veterans, you see. They know how the system works. They understand the game very well because at one point in time, most of the Greycoats were Bluecoats. Did you know that?
We can assume by name association.
Most Greycoats were basically Bluecoats, who, for whatever reason, had to resign or retire at a young age. And after a while, with enough of them, they formed their own faction, putting together their veteran experiences and abilities to a financial profit, allowing them to also do things that the Greycoats themselves couldn't do. The Bluecoats, my apologies. So you see, working around the law instead of for the law. There's a trade-off. The Bluecoats are the law, so they can basically do whatever they want and get away with it, and gangs like yours or families like mine have to just eat shit and deal with it. But the Greycoats know how the system works. They know who to pay off and for what, and they usually make their moves very carefully. They usually aren't just muscle for hire. They weigh the value of the job and the pay of that job. So for them to do such a brash action, to take such great bold moves in broad daylight with witnesses against you, seems to be either one of two things. Either they were paid an extraordinarily, and I mean stupid, amount of coin, or the people who perpetrated this, in fact, were perhaps not graycoats. How does one determine the veracity of this situation? I don't know, because it is not my problem. But I hope that I have been of some help to you, and that if there's anything else that we can do, let me know. Of course, I'll keep my ears open if I hear anything.
Thank you. I'm very glad we are having a consultant, like, not really a consultant, but a friend like you.
Of course.
It's been very helpful.
That's what friends are for. All right, well, be safe. Take care. Keep one eye over your shoulder.
As do you. Have a nice day.
He does not stand up from his desk. You guys just walk out. All right. You guys. You hit up a couple of your hiding spots where you have your scratch stowed.
I'm doing my personal stashes. I'm not taking from our stuff.
Okay.
I'm doing my personal.
I mean,
Okay.
I can pitch in the coin that I won. I'm not sure how much that's going to help.
So that's
but-
one coin. How
I
much
have
you got?
2 on me and 3 in my stashes. I'm going to grab a third from my stash, so we'll have a total of 4.
Okay.
Okay. So you are loading out. You're hurrying.
yeah.
You get back to the alley behind Gary's. And sure enough, you see the older blue coat just waiting there patiently. He has a pocket watch. He looks at the watch. You guys come around the corner and he looks and he says, I was beginning to worry that perhaps you did not have an appropriate sense of time. So, we had discussed an arrangement. Your friend Gary, by the way, is at St. Albans Hospital. He seems to be stable.
Thank you.
Should be back here in anywhere from 5 to 7 days. I don't believe that the Spirit Wardens will be pursuing a case in this incident, as we filed a report an hour ago stating that one of the customers, in an act of courage and bravery, had risen up and, grabbing a implement that was adjacent to the deli counter, had defeated the assailant and then fled the scene. Now that was quite a whopper that I had to file, and that report took a little bit of convincing for the watch commander to accept. So I'm afraid that I'll need you boys to make a donation. What do you think would be appropriate for saving your friend, covering up for a murder with the Spirit Wardens, and filing a false report exonerating you from any wrongdoing, creating a fictitious, courageous civilian who rose up to defend his deli owner? What do you say that's worth? I'm counting 1, 2, 3 different major tasks that had to be done. Would you say that's somewhere in that vicinity?
Just the ridiculously sized bag of coin, and I'm just gonna.
He will accept your donation of 3 coin. Did you give him more?
Just because this is who I am. Do you want a new pair of like perfectly done leather shoes? Like, I understand the job of. I have like 6 pairs. Do you want a couple?
How much coin did you give him? You give him 3. He takes the bag, he kind of looks through it. He says, no, this is a very generous donation. Very generous. If I may. And he kind of secures the bag. Let me give you a bit of advice. I'm not exactly sure what you boys stirred up, nor am I exactly sure why any former associates of mine might have been bold enough to conduct what they did at your respectable place of residence.
Right.
But someone has it out for you, if you didn't figure that out already.
Yeah.
Someone who's willing to hire graycoats who are not cheap, who are not dumb. And whoever it is, perhaps they weren't expecting you guys to be there, because they only sent a couple guys in. Is that my understanding?
Yeah.
And those couple guys only had to hold up a deli. That didn't require a lot. So maybe you caught them off guard. Don't know. But whoever has it out for you, they want something. Well, I'll let you think about that. Thank you again for your donation. Enjoy the rest of your day. He turns. Just starts whistling while he walks down the street with your 3 coin. Smash cut. You went to a safe house for Skovlan refugees that you were told about by Ulf, your part-time hero / mentor.
Yeah.
You're going back to school, girl.
I'm gonna need you. I want you to actually roll a d6. This is just to determine randomly where. Oh, that actually works out hella good. Okay, so Ulf maintains a very humble safe house in the cellar of a farmer's cottage in Barrow Cleft. Now, Barrow Cleft is on the western side of the city. It's this kind of like dumpy little residential neighborhood, very quiet, not a lot of criminal activity that you guys know about in that area. Basically, Barrow Cleft is residences and markets for the farmers who work the fields and the eeleries. That's where they farm eels, because eel meat is yummy. So you are in literally the potato cellar of a cottage.
It's cramped.
You knew where to go. You went there. You knocked on the back door. The farmer's wife pointed to these cellar doors, and then she pointed there. And then in Skovlan, she's like, "You'll be safe here."
Thank you. Thank you. I say a bit panicked and was just like, thank you.
Go down in there. You'll be safe there. And then so she looks around. You go down. She closes the doors. You're down there for 3 hours.
How cramped is it, with my size stature?
You're pretty cramped. Your legs hurt and your shoulders hurt, and basically you're pretty cramped. But a few hours later, you hear the and the doors open up, and you see an older man. And he leans down there and he says in Skovlan, he's like, "It is safe to come out now."
Okay.
He says, "There is someone who wants to speak to you."
Oh no.
He says, "No, it's a good thing. He knows you're here. I will tell him. But follow me." He goes to the back of his humble little yard at his cottage, to the alley. He opens up a gate and he says, "Go down the alley." He says, "You'll see an old green house that's worn down. Go into the back door and up the stairs. He's waiting there for you."
Okay, thank you. I would give the pouch of gold or coin to the very nice old man.
He says, "Oh, no. He says,
I insist.
"Well then, thank you. I will make sure he knows of your generosity. It will go towards the cause." Looks around, and then he goes back into his cottage. All right, so you walk down the alley. You see this old, dilapidated greenhouse, falling apart. You see these wooden stairs that are half rotten that go up in the back. You don't see anybody in this yard. You don't see anybody in the house. You go up the back stairs, open the door, creak, and you see what looks like at one point in time, this might have been a very fine home that has long since been abandoned. Windows are broken. There's like leaves and debris and dirt and dust all over everything. You hear a voice from upstairs in Skovlan say, "I'm up here." It sounds familiar, as if you've heard it before.
Hello?
Up here. Upstairs.
Oh, hi.
Watch the 5th stair. It's spring-loaded with a trap. It'll cut your feet right off. The 5th from the bottom.
Okay.
I'm gonna count it to 4.
Okay, you make your way carefully up the stairs. When you get to the 2nd floor, you see that on your left side is a bedroom, and the roof is collapsed, and there's just like open air coming through and dirt and leaves and stuff. And then on the right side, a little further down the hall, you see an open doorway, and you see like a little bit of ambient light coming from that room.
I'd walk into that room.
Okay, as you're walking, you hear the same voice again say, "Over here, my boy, in this
okay.
room." And you hear it's coming from the room that you were walking to.
I'd continue walking.
Okay, you turn the corner, doorway is open. Where the door is, no idea. Just like hinges but no door. You look in and you see like a bank of windows. All the glass is broken out. Just air coming through. And in this room, it is absolutely empty. There are no furnishings except for a single wooden chair. You don't see Ulf. You don't even see a closet where Ulf could be hiding. But you just heard his voice.
I swear, if it's you, I would like kind of prick my hand like kind of to draw a little bit of blood, and then I would like put it on the chair.
As you do that, the voice comes from the chair, still sounding like Ulf.
Oh, I knew it was you.
And it says, "We have some business to attend to." And it's speaking in Skovlan. "We have some business to attend to.
Oh.
I need a favor, and you and your crew need a favor. So you will do this for me. Yeah?
I suppose we don't have a choice other.
Wonderful. So you are not far, actually, from where I need you to go. It's a short jaunt, but the difficult part is you will need to go under the barrier to get there."
On foot?
Yes. Well, you can't fly over the barrier. You would be electrocuted. You will need to go under. There may be tunnels. I don't know. You'll have to find out. But you will need to go to the old North Port. It is south of here, south of Barrel Cleft. There is a building there. It was once a factory where materials that were mined were processed. Something is going on in that factory, and I need to know what it is, and I need proof of whatever is going to happen. You will go to your crew, and you will tell them about this, and you will return here to this sad greenhouse to bring me what it is that I want. I want to know what they are doing in the old factory. Do you understand what I need for you to do?
Barrier, factory, find out, yada yada.
Come a little bit closer. The chair swings forward really fast, and it hits you in the head. And you're like, ow! It doesn't do any harm, but for a brief moment, like you had like a flash of light in your head. Okay, go now. Find your friends. Tell them it is time to pay some debts. Mr. Chair will wait here. Goodbye, little demon. Goodbye.
Goodbye, asshole chair. I walk down, and then as I'm about to step on the 5th one, I'm like, and then I'm just like,
You're like, whoa.
He falls.
And you go down.
Falls
All right.
downstairs.
You are going to make your way back to where? Because you aren't really sure where your friends would be. Roll another d6. 1, 2, 3. Demon has a good idea. 4, 5, 6. He doesn't.
I like 6.
I like the higher number. He has less of an idea. Because he can't count that high.
You're like, where would they be? They're probably back at Gary's. You go back to Gary's. No one's there.
Well, wouldn't the two of us be there?
No.
Yeah, okay.
I mean, would you?
I mean, they're
Would we?
behind the.
I would
Flashback?
I'll knock at the door.
You want to use a minor flashback?
Minor flashback after
So
we're
leave
done
a
with.
note on the door for
Yeah.
Demon. Meet us at the Wongs.
Yeah.
Meet us at the Jade Dragon.
Just like on his bed.
Okay. But he doesn't have keys. You're the only one with keys.
Oh.
I would knock at the door just like,
No one's there. The back door's locked. The front door's locked.
Ooh, looks like we're gonna need a new door.
Brooks pays for it.
Flashback.
Yeah, I'd say flashback. Just put a little sticky note on the door. Demon, go to Jade Dragon.
Okay. You get to the back door, and you see a little note.
can he read?
Yeah, he's
Can he read?
he's literate.
Demon J Dragon. Oh,
Yeah.
okay.
Yeah.
Standing there for 5 minutes.
No, 3 minutes. You can't count that high.
You're fairly certain that this was a note left by your friends.
Seems real to me.
So you then make your way across town once again back to the night market district. Now it's late afternoon. You guys have just been hanging out at the Jade Dragon for lack of a better thing to do, unless you wanted to do something.
Or no, while we were hanging out and talking, I think I may have been just writing up on a little scratch sheet of like deli attack suspects, writing down random
Okay.
names that we.
So you're like going through it. Who could
Yes.
it be? Trying to figure it out.
Okay, now this might be a stretch, but we haven't seen them in a while. What if it was the Shifties? What if it was the Shifties or Weeping Ladies? Weeping Ladies were the first people we tried to take turf from. Might have been them. But they didn't use any arcane ghosts. Never mind, that's a stupid idea. And then... Oh, there he is.
I think gambling would help us get our heads straight.
I'm not a gambler. Plus, we have our fifth member here now. Hello, Demon. Where have you been?
Mr. Chair wants us.
Funnily enough, he's one of my suspects. All right, what does he want?
We have to cross under the barrier and then.
Excuse me? The barrier.
You said the what now?
The thing.
Is that even possible?
The
You
thing.
said there might be tons.
Roll a d6.
I don't know.
I forgot.
Demon starts like I'm assuming you guys have now by this time you've gone back as well. So you're kind of in a corner booth. Remember how like the Jade Dragon has those like privacy booth with the beads?
Yeah.
Like Demon kind of pulls in and you guys have to move over a lot. And then he sits down and then he starts kind of going through this. And then a strange thing happens. He's like, he wants, Mr. Chair wants us to go. And then he's like, he blinks twice and he looks up and he goes, Mr. Chair wants us to go across the lightning barrier from Barrow Cleft into the old Northport district. He said there's a factory there that has something going on, and he needs to know what it is that they're up to, and he wants proof. And then he blinks twice, and he's like, huh? What did I just say?
How did you speak?
Damn, you have good memory.
Huh?
All right.
Guys,
Did you just insult me?
No.
Probably.
I hate that.
Something you briefly had a moment where you like spaced out. You're not really sure what you said. Brooks, you heard this.
You were saying something, Brooks?
Yeah, so I'm pretty sure he just got possessed.
Oh, that would make sense.
Yeah.
Sorry, I'm not good at spirit ghosts.
And I've seen that chair do it to like 3 different people now.
Oh, you have? Oh.
No, the guy with the oh god,
Okay.
who was that? The gondoliers, the chair, the
So-
guy who was it's happened a lot,
Okay.
and he can't talk that coherently.
Huh?
You can barely talk as is.
Yeah.
Let us. We have no choice.
Thank
We
you
have
for
to
the
do what he
compliment.
says, or else I fear dire consequences
I
might
meant
befall
kill
us.
Gary.
So, we should do that as soon as we can. But
At the same time, I mean, there's nothing in the deli, and Gary won't be back for at least 5 to 7 days because that's what the blue coat said.
you know what?
Is that
So
blood
we have a
still sitting there?
What?
Is that
Yeah.
blood just sitting on the floor
Yep.
still?
I'm not gonna clean it up. Do you see how I dress?
You were the last one there. You should have done it.
One problem at a time.
You touched it last. It's your problem.
Nose touch.
Okay.
Shannon.
All right.
Listen now.
We have a few days until Gary gets back there, until he's okay. He is in stable condition, as a report from the blue coat that I paid. He said he's going to be at least 5 to 7 days until we get back there. So I closed it all down. It should be fine for now. We took everything else out of there, for the most part. Like, what's going to be left? It's a deli. There's going to be some rotting eel meat in there in a week.
Oh, it's gonna smell bad.
I still
Yeah.
have everything.
He'll eat it.
Where can I drop your stuff?
So I just put second pistol in, couple knives in, just whatever.
So,
I don't know what to do.
Is it time to plan a heist?
Course of action? Well, first of all, before we do anything drastic, I think we should clean the deli. Yes?
No, you lost
Is that
nose
really
touch.
our
I'm
priority?
just gonna point out.
Listen, I wanted the place to be spotless. Gary has cared for us as long as we can,
You
or as
lost
long as we
nose
have
touch.
been
You
there.
have to clean it.
But Gary made the place bad.
What?
He made the place a mess. With his blood and all that.
That wasn't his fault. Kobb,
His
please.
blood.
I'm just going to say this while it's still fresh in my mind. The blue coat did say that, to his words, he said that those were gray coats. He said himself that he doesn't know why my former colleagues would do this, and they aren't
Okay.
cheap. Because we know they're veterans, they're incredibly expensive. So, do the Red Sashes have that much money?
Well, Kobb and I conversed with Peter Wong, the stand-in for Eddie Wong since he's out recently, and he suspects that might not be the Greycoats. He thinks that might just be some odd gang, because that was a pretty brash intrusion. There's no way that they're an organized group for
But that's the thing.
security and whatnot.
That's what the blue coat said. That threw me for a loop. Was he said that it would have taken an insane amount of money for them to do what they did in broad daylight.
Still, I doubt.
So we have
that this
options to
was-
weigh here. We have things to investigate.
Yes,
But I would prefer to not get my soul sucked out by a demon. So we will.
Just to throw this out there, because we need like all the details, I guess. When me and Demon started jumping the two guys that assaulted the deli, they were surprised to see us. They were not
Yes.
expecting us to be there.
That is another point. Peter also brought up the fact that since there are only two men lightly armed, they don't. Yeah, he just said he doesn't think that they knew we were going to be there. So they might not even know that is our HQ. They might have just been robbing a deli.
Right.
But that's probably not what happened.
Yeah, but why would Greycoats rob a deli for no reason?
Minor job? Who knows?
They're gray coats.
They're still a gang. Their main thing is, like, I assume, is security, but they're still a gang. They still do gigs.
But they're veterans.
And they're not cheap.
Still. We have to think of all possibilities here.
That was a cheap muscle run.
Yeah,
The
they-
gray coats don't do that.
They'd be doing more
Well,
high.
If the gray, I
High
think if it was the gray coats, really the gray coats, we would have heard us. We would have heard a shot from a sniper and never seen him.
well, I digress. Anyways, we should figure out on how we do the chair's bidding here.
Yeah.
I hate him. He hit me.
Well, you'll be fine. You're
So
a big boy.
You've been hit by worse.
the heist involves sneaking under a lightning wall, which may be in and of itself relatively challenging.
Okay, wait.
Going from Barrow Cleft into the old North Port. And then finding this factory, investigating whatever's going on there, and bringing back proof of what is up. That is what Mr. Chair has asked you to do.
Just to like throw this out there, because I don't remember the exact lore of this. When we went out to that desert, to that train full of vampires, didn't we have to cross the barrier to get to that?
We had a train.
Well, yeah, by a train run by Jimothy.
You were on a train.
Jimothy.
Yes.
Okay.
And the rail is protected. Now, when you got off that train, you were in the Deathlands.
Right.
But this is crossing out of the protection of the lightning barrier. And Mr. Chair hinted some things to Demon. But none of you have really ever... You've heard of rumors, let's say. You've heard rumors that it's possible to sneak out of the city. But you're not a smuggling crew, so you're not really sure how one goes about doing that. But you know where you need to go, and you know roughly what you need to do. So now we enter the planning phase of this heist. How do you want to do this?
We can ask Jim not to me.
Want to note, we have never been in this area, have we?
No.
We should probably scope it out. See what's there.
gonna be
Scope out beyond the barrier?
No, I'm talking about the place where the tunnel is located. Have we ever been in that part of
You don't even
the
know
city?
if there is a tunnel.
I don't even know if there's one.
But yes, you're right. You've never been in Dunslow or Barrow Cleft,
We should go see.
other
if-
than when he went to Barrow Cleft just now.
We should go see if any of our contacts, connections, anybody we are friends with has any idea of what goes on in that general area.
Okay, so you want to find out more information about it.
Yes.
And what else do you want to try to find out? I'll go to each one of you. John.
I kind of want to ask my contact. I want to ask my contact,
Who's your contact and what do they do?
Rosalind Kellis, a noble, so she would know more of the workings of the
Okay,
town.
okay.
See if she knows of any maybe fell through type of plans to
Roll me a
turn it-
consort roll.
Consort.
1.
Wow.
God.
All right. Freakishly, Rosalind will tell you a little bit of history. She doesn't know anything about getting in there or smuggling or anything, but she will tell you a little bit of history. She tells you that the Old North Port was, well, she'll tell you this. Before the deluge of the 2nd century, the Dosk River Delta was only a shallow bog surrounding a coal mining settlement. Ships used the Old North Port to dock and resupply before crossing the open sea to Skovlan. The obsolete port was abandoned to the Deathlands when the 2nd lightning barrier was built. So basically, this was part of Greater Duskfall at one point. But when the other lightning barrier was built, it basically got cut off. So it's not like deep into the Deathlands. Basically, here's your map, right? Like where that little settlement is, that's the Old North Port. This is Barrow Cleft, the neighborhood where Demon made contact with Mr. Chair.
Okay.
And then these spiky, significant things all over the map are the lightning barrier.
Refers, to the barrier.
So it's just beyond the lightning barrier. She tells you that. She tells you that, to her knowledge, there's nothing of value in the Old North Port because it was abandoned. She says she knows it was at one point kind of industrial, but that they were mining like coal and the factories were producing things that nowadays they just use Leviathan blood. They use the ectoplasm to fuel their stuff. Okay. What do you want to do?
Okay, I guess I'll go to my contact, Valeris. He's a spy, and I want to ask him about, like, if he's heard anything about different smuggling operations in and out of the lightning barrier.
Consort away.
I'm gonna have to push myself for that to add 1 dice. 5.
Okay. Valeris tells you that during the Skovlan War, the Skovlans actually used the Old North Port as a means of infiltrating Duskfall. And that some of the Skovlan rebels who were trying to basically be insurgents and sabotage some of the stuff in Duskfall, he heard rumors that they had dug tunnels underneath the lightning barriers that were being constructed. And that they had figured out ways to get into Duskfall. And they were using the Old North Port as a means of doing that. That's all he knows.
Okay.
Demon. What, if anything, do you want to do to prepare yourself for this heist?
Could I talk with Ivan?
Sure.
So, I'd, where would we even have Ivan, like?
Would he be at your renovated building?
That actually would be the other building I own that I have for some reason. Sure.
Okay, so, I'd be like, hey Ivan, I got a question for you. Do you know anything about the barrier and tunnels? You know, with your
He's like, you're not going to go beyond the barrier, are you? There's a lot of bad things out there, Demon. I mean, like, real bad things.
Well, you remember our friend Weatherby?
Yeah?
He's kind of, made us do a favor for him.
Oh.
Or I'll become, a real demon.
Oh no.
Just be really careful. I mean, even though it's not far into the Deathlands, going beyond the barrier is really dangerous.
Yeah.
Swords and guns and axes don't work against spirits. Might have to think about that.
That's not my strong suit. Okay, well, just don't do any of the drugs here, Ivan.
I won't.
Have a good day. I'll go back now.
You too. Okay. Alex, what are you doing, if anything, to prepare for this heist?
Yes. Just prior knowledge before doing anything, we have no idea what what happens in the two places that we were told about, correct? Since we've never been there.
Do you have any contacts that you can?
I'm asking that
appropriate.
In turn. I guess I could go. I have two. I have Salia, a very good friend of mine that I've been going to a lot, or Jaren, one I haven't visited at all.
Who are Salia and who are Jaren?
Salia is an information broker, and Jaren is a Blue Coat archivist. But
well,
I have bad standing with him.
Okay. Information brokering is something that might work, but you realize there will be a price in coin.
Yeah.
Would you like to tap that contact?
Yeah. I'll go off to where Salia might be located. I'll put down. I'll ask her first. Hey, do you know about anything that goes on in what are the areas? I've already forgotten.
Old Northport.
Do you know anything that goes on or what happens in the Old Northport around the general area?
She says yes. Spirits. And probably demons. And maybe ghouls or vampires? I'm not really sure.
Yeah, that would make sense.
Yeah. It's beyond the lightning barrier. I mean, it's an old abandoned kind of, mining and industrial neighborhood.
Well, here's another question for you. I have heard rumors that there might be tunnels dug under the lightning barrier that might be able to be accessed. Has a little birdie flew in and told you anything about those?
I think I know what you're talking about, but it would take me a little time to research that. And of course, my time is worth money.
Of course, I know that very well.
Why don't you give me 1 coin now, and then I will return with you tonight at 9 on the clock. And if my information satisfies your needs, you'll give me another coin.
Very well. Look forward to seeing you.
As always, Alex, a pleasure doing business with you.
Aye.
She takes the coin, counts it all meticulously. She's like, see you in 4 hours.
Have a nice day.
What?
You. How do you want to prepare for this heist?
Oh, God. None of my contacts are really great for this specifically.
Well, it's not all about contacts. There are
Right.
lots of different things that you can do.
Yeah.
So, for example, one might want to survey an area, even if one only has one dot
Yeah,
in
this-
survey. Or
this is-
one might want to consort, well, or one might want to consort and try to find out from certain people more information. Yes.
I mean, if he wants to survey, could I say I loan him my spyglass to like give him an assist?
You can absolutely assist him.
All right.
If you want.
What I think what I'm going to do my best to do. All right. Let's see if I can work this into working. So, tavern owner, my number one go-to for
Yes.
everything.
Yes.
Just gonna go. So the town, what's the town just that we're going to the,
Well, Barrow Cleft is the neighborhood
that we're gonna be?
before you cross the
Barrow Cleft.
Lightning Barrow. Yeah.
Just gonna go.
And you know, Barrow Cleft is really, I mean, literally, it's just like a little residential area with markets.
So I'm
It's
just
like-
gonna,
Blue collar neighborhood, mostly farmers and eel refinery workers.
gross. Are there any serious smuggling operations that would run in Barrow Cleft, perchance?
You're asking your bartender contact.
Yeah.
I will let you make that consort roll, adding 1 die. No, I'm sorry, that was survey. Just make a consort roll.
Well,
You're,
first
you're,
gambit.
you're going to do the gambit? All right, so then you roll your sway, you take a stress.
Can you do that? How much stress?
I'm close to
accumulating
trauma.
a lot of stress, man.
1, 3, 5.
It kind of works.
It's fine.
He's like, hey, can you help me carry these bottles from the back room? Thanks, right now. And then you kind of take his cue. You go into the back room and he's lifting bottles and stacking them onto other bottles. And he's like, what you're asking about is very dangerous. He goes, there are smugglers who go beyond the barrier, but usually it's because they're plundering things.
Yeah.
In good conscience, I don't know if I could actually suggest to you that you try to meet up with them, but the Deathlands scavengers are probably the best at navigating outside of the barrier. Getting a hold of them in this city is challenging.
Right.
I mean, as far as people who might know how to get around the lightning barrier by water, probably got 2 options. The dockers or the gondoliers. There are some other really weird smaller outfits that might be able to get you there by water. Might not cost you as much.
Right.
There's one of them that I remember. Oh, what are their names? Oh yeah, the Washbucklers. They're kind of a group of ass clowns, but
I'm aware.
We might have to.
I'm telling you, buddy, it's kind of a challenge, you know, taking risks when you're going outside of the safety of the lightning barriers.
We're in a tough spot.
I mean, you know, if money was no object, there might be other options, but I don't think you can afford bribing sailors to bring you there. And even then, I don't think the sailors make regular stops outside of the lightning barrier.
Yeah.
He said, just by chance, where is it that you're trying to go?
The Old North Dock.
He said, you know, I heard rumors that the Skovlans way back in the day used to use that as a point of entry to sneak into Duskfall. He says there might be still a few of the silver nails around.
Silver nails?
I would say that you, Brooks Columbo, have never heard of the silver nails.
Yeah, fair enough. I'll run it past some of my other associates.
Okay.
As always, I appreciate it.
Anytime. You're a good guy. I like you.
Save a bottle of the really expensive stuff when we get back.
As always. You walk back out. All right, you guys rendezvous. Oh, a few hours go by. You meet back up with your contact. She says, boy, do I have information for you.
Oh boy, and I'm excited to hear it.
She says, a few birdies have told me that there's some strange things going on deep in the Old North Port. Like activity.
Mm.
Now, I didn't get specifics about who's there, but I did hear this, that there have been some very, very shady boats coming and going, using the old docks, and some activity in a few of the buildings in the Old North Port.
Okay.
I don't know who's involved, but I have heard that there's been activity. I also heard that a very old smuggler who was actually around during the Skovlan War, that he might know a way to get you across the lightning barrier.
Is there a name, any code names you were given?
His name is Whitefish,
Whitefish. Okay. Noted.
but be careful.
Thank you. Once again, Salia, for your great service. And instead of 1 coin, I'll give her 2.
She tells you after you give her the second coin, she says, you could find Whitefish at a small pub in the south end of Barrowcliff. He wears an old captain's hat and a sailor's jacket. And he has a beard, a white beard.
That sounds familiar for some reason. I feel like we encountered it before. Yeah, at the fighting ring. Or we protected Ulf.
You
I was not there.
you proceed with that information to meet back up at the Wongs.
Yeah.
Yes.
Okay. So as you guys kind of gather in your privacy booth at the Wongs, share amongst yourselves what you were thinking.
So, boy, was I given some information. There might be someone that could get us in through the tunnels, an old person who was there with the Skovlan invasion. But I would like to hear all of your information first before I suggest anything drastic.
Did they say if he would charge us for taking us through?
They're a smuggler. What do you expect?
That's fair.
You got to assume that this is going to cost us no matter what.
One thing, before we choose what way we're doing this, there's been major activity inside of the Old North Port. Some very shady, shifty boats have been meandering about there. They've been seen, and activity's been going on in the buildings near there. So, whatever's going on there, Mr. Chair is right. There is activity, and he wants to know what it is. So, let's see what we have. Kobb, did you find anything?
Also just about the existence of the tunnels.
Tunnels do exist.
Yeah,
Okay.
that's about all I got.
All I got was that the tunnels were used by like Skovlan rebels, insurgents to get in and out.
We've established the tunnels
Yeah.
exist somewhere
Yeah.
near where the barriers might be. Demon?
Outside the barrier is dangerous.
We can assume that. It's called the Deathlands for a reason. And
I got a
books.
couple things. So, number one, water is an option. I was recommended the gondoliers in our so lovely friends of the Washbucklers. Because they're going to be cheaper. There's other smaller organizations that we could use, smaller than the Washbucklers, which that worries me. There are smugglers. There is a group of ex-Skovlan rebels who operate in the area, whose name you wrote down because I already forgot. Silvernails. Thank you. Ooh.
When you say that, you're like, wait a minute. You actually remember the Silvernails. But when you were younger and the war was happening, the Silvernails weren't Skovlans. They were mercenaries that were helping the Skovlans, but they were Severosi. They were not Skovlans. They were Severosi mercenaries who were helping the Skovlans.
I forgot about them. Oh.
You know them. Well, not know them, but you've heard of them.
Yes, I forgot about them until you mentioned it again, but...
You know, it's kind of funny, meta moment. I just realized I'm kind of setting up like the war in Ukraine right now.
Yeah.
Not really, but also kind of, which is awesome. But not intentional, but also awesome. All right, carry on. So you kind of know the reputation of the Silvernails as this mercenary company who was trying to help the Skovlan resistance, and which then got squashed. So, you guys have gathered a lot of information.
We have.
You have some ideas about ways that you could do this. And then, of course, we will need to make the engagement roll to determine how this heist is going to go. But we're going to do that on the next episode of the Blackstones, our ongoing Blades in the Dark campaign. We'll be shooting soon, so don't worry. No one else will change facial hair. The very next episode that we record...
No, I'm shaving my head tomorrow.
No. The next episode that we record, we'll pick right up where we left off with the beginning of this most epic heist. But thank you all for watching, for staying and enjoying our Blades in the Dark campaign, the Blackstones. We'll see you soon. Peace out. Bye.